plenty of clients to go around. I say this a lot, there's plenty of sick clients to go around. There's plenty of people out there that are sick. Just look down the street. This is not competition, right? We're not competing with each other in this room. We're trying to build a community and grow together. I think there's plenty to have if we all work together versus try to do it our own way individually. Why are we doing this? Well, there's 23 CrossFit affiliates, not to mention all the other micro gym, boutique fitness studios, and everything else. I believe there's strength in numbers, and it's worth staying open. We want people open because even if they have one member, that's somebody who's hopefully moving that sickness, wellness, fitness continuum, right? They're slowly coming from either sick or well, and they're moving towards that fitness, creating that hedge against the metabolic diseases that plague our society.
Welcome to the RVA Affiliate Collective podcast, where we share stories around the business of fitness and other things going on in the local RVA fitness community. Give us a follow on Instagram at RVA Affiliate Collective. Enjoy the show. Welcome to the Collective podcast.
Thank you.
I'm excited to have you. For those who don't know, who are you and what do you do?
I am LaNette McKinney, and I am a sales rep for K2 Awards and Apparel. We thought we needed somebody in this role, and I started in February, and it's been awesome.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So in the CrossFit space and in the affiliate space, you've been known to help people out with shirt orders and provide a whole bunch of really cool products for the community. Is there anything significant about that kind of work that you've picked up on?
Yeah, so what I think makes me stand out amongst their competitors is being able to go in a CrossFit, sit down with them, just have them tell me what they want. The following week, I come back, provide them with samples of what they want so they can actually see this item runs small or this item runs big, or, you know, when you are able to put your hands on something, I just feel like it makes things go so much smoother as far as a transaction's concerned. And it's providing great customer service. Like, we've had incredible feedback on just having me out there and having a face to be a K2 employee.
Yeah, I would say that's huge. Like, for myself personally, when I've ordered from a Vistaprint or anybody for any kind of printed or design work, you never truly know what you're getting until it shows up.
That's
and sometimes
exactly
it's
right.
like 1,000 units of something that's not quite what you wanted.
Yeah. And it's like, do I give this to my customers and clients who spend really good money here to work out? And I don't know. I just feel like it's important to put your customers in great gear that's going to last. And if you're going to put a branded logo on something that you've worked so hard for, you want it to look good.
Yeah.
And you want to be happy with it.
That's right. You definitely want it to last in the CrossFit space. Thankfully, many people take off their shirts in CrossFit, so I think some of the shirts will last longer.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? But even if they don't, longevity is huge in the fitness industry. You do CrossFit yourself, right? I
do. I am a member at DBG CrossFit. I started there last November, and I feel like I've found my home. And I think it's so important for the community when you're involved in a CrossFit to just feel like you belong. I think for me, for sure, it has built a lot of confidence in me. And it's been huge in sales just to be like, yeah, you can do a pull-up, but you can go sell 1 million T-shirts this year, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of awesome.
So confidence boost. Plus it gives you insiders, I guess, knowledge of at least a type of customer. I'm sure you deal with more than just CrossFitters and fitness gyms, but when you're selling to them, you can speak their language.
Yeah, I totally can speak their lingo. I think obviously me being a member too has helped me slide in doors that I probably never would have had open for me.
Yeah.
So that has been huge upon itself. Marty's given me a decent amount of referrals, Mandy Ellis being one of them.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I know also what they're looking for. It's not like just walking to a business and not knowing what they want at all. Like, I kind of have an idea.
Yeah. Has that kind of knowledge led you to creating products specifically for fitness gyms, or like certain things? Like, I've seen welcome packages that are like, got a shirt and a box printed and all these different things from some vendors out there. I didn't know if you all have considered like tailoring products to gyms.
That is an awesome idea. I'm going to take that on Monday
Okay.
and run with it, Joe. So thank you.
Sure, anytime.
I love that. We have definitely talked about that as far as spirit wear that I do for school, working on package deals, because I think it does make a big difference. And yeah, you walk in the door, you're a member. Here's a coffee mug and a T-shirt. Thanks for being a member, right?
Right.
Like, it's great appreciation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to work on that. I really
Cool.
do. That's an amazing idea.
Yeah,
So.
everyone needs printed grips or printed something, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's really neat.
Awesome idea. Can't wait. I'll get that started.
All right. Well, just make sure you kick me back.
I will. I'll kick
10
it back
cents
to
on every
you
order.
on RBA affiliate.
So what led you to this type of work? I imagine this, you said you started in February, so probably did something before this.
Yeah, so I was in the dental field for 12 years. I went to VCU. I got a bachelor's in science and dental hygiene. I worked at a practice in Mechanicsville for about 4 years, and then another 8 years in the West End. It was a super successful career. It was amazing for raising small children. I only worked part-time, but it was like best of both worlds. Got to be a stay-at-home mom and also work as a career. So it paid its dues. But then, this job opportunity came open in February, and my husband, Wes, he also is a partner at K2. He was like, would you be interested in just trying to get your face out there and do sales? And I'm like, oh, I do not want to do sales. Like, I remember in the dental hygiene world, when a salesperson came in the door, I would run to the back. Like, I was like, I am not talking to that salesperson today. So I always say it was cutthroat. I could never do it. Mm-hmm. And then we talked a little bit more, and Charlie Moss, who is the owner of K2, he kind of got involved and was like, why don't you just try it? What do you have to lose? And it's true, like, I could always go back to the dental hygiene career, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I quit work in January. I started in February, and I will never look back. It has literally been life-changing.
Wow. So you mentioned your experience with salespeople. What makes you not that type of person, I guess? What allows people to want to talk to you versus run to the back, right?
Yeah, so I truly believe that I just bring a relationship to the table. I don't want to go into CrossFit and be like, the first thing out of my mouth is how many T-shirts you need. The sale's great, but I love that I'm able to build relationships with people prior to even talking about it. And I can say, obviously, DBG has been great for me. Fit Factory, I've made a great relationship, I think, with Brandon and V. Mandy down at Chaco Bottom today. Yeah. We just had an amazing conversation. And we talked for 45 minutes prior to even talking about T-shirts or swag.
Nice.
So I think building that personal relationship, and I don't cold call. Like, I'm not going to cold call and walk into a building. That is not my style. I had myself, and I pushed it, and I did not want to do it, but I knew it was the best thing for me. I got involved in a BNI group, which is a business group, and I rely heavily on referrals, not only from that group, but from the surrounding area. Mm-hmm. And so, luckily, I have not had to make the first cold call.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
So, networking, relationships, no cold calls.
Yeah.
And people like you for that.
Yeah, I hope so.
Well, you haven't seen anyone run away, have you?
Not yet. Yeah. I haven't lost a sale yet.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Awesome. What was probably the most difficult, other than maybe joining the BNI group, but what was the most difficult transition for you to come into an outside sales or even marketing or kind of branding? Because you run the Instagram account and you kind of do a lot of the social media presence as well.
Yeah.
What was hard about switching from dental work, right?
Yeah.
To this totally different industry?
Yeah, so that's a great question. In dentistry, I didn't like to say that I sold things, but I guess I kind of did, right? Like, I'm going to sell you to brush and floss your teeth. I'm going to try to sell you on, why don't you think about getting a crown before this tooth cracks? Like, so I guess I did a little bit of sales, but then this is like taking on a whole nother sales level of trying to get my face out there. And when I had jumped on board, the commitment was I'm only going to do 20 hours a week. So I could still be part-time, but still be a mom, right?
Right.
So I am so type A, and I have such the drive. Like, it's so hard to be successful in sales and do it part-time, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So the biggest difference from dental to what I'm doing now is the part-time hours. I used to work like 1 8-hour day a week, and now I'm working like 20 to 30 hours, which I am grateful for. It has been an awesome ride, but I want to be successful, you know? So the time involved has been a huge change for me. And there are days when I'm like, oh my stars, I am drowning. But I've also had to learn to prioritize things like when my kids are in school. That way, when they get home from school, I can be present and mindful with them on their activities and homework and still be a mom, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's been a big change, lifestyle change, and just time commitment, like trying to focus on what I need to focus on.
Yeah, I imagine sales could be self-driving, and if you have a strong drive to be successful, then the job could never end.
Yeah.
Right? There's not a hard 5 p.m. cutoff, right?
Not at all.
Do you find yourself setting those boundaries?
No, I'm terrible.
Oh, really?
I'm the worst. Because I work from home, so I have an office at home, and I have like my apparel swag set up at home too. I find myself on like Saturdays, like trying to like shut my door quietly and hide from my people and be like, I just have like 2 emails I need to get out. Or like last Sunday, I had a coach call me because that was the only time he could get in touch with me. Mm-hmm. But if you want to make that happen, you have to be there for them, right? Like, that's customer service. That is one thing that I really need to work on is
healthy boundaries.
Yes.
Yeah. I imagine February is not that long ago. You're still learning, I'm sure, every day. And some things are appropriate and some things aren't. Even in my own personal development and career, there's a time and place to be available off hours, and there's sometimes when you just have to shut down.
True.
Have you found examples of when you had to just shut the phone off or think about switching phones, like having an actual separate phone just for work that we can put it away?
That sounds amazing. Because they all have my personal number.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Which I don't always think that's a bad thing.
No.
But it's funny you say that because literally my husband and I just had this conversation. We truly try not to talk about work, but so much because, we need to have a life outside of work. Like, I want to make our marriage keep going, right? So
right.
We have gotten we take our phones and put them away at dinner time, and we don't get them back out until 8:30 till the kids go to bed.
Oh, nice.
This is new. We'll see how long it lasts, but it's just being present when people are, in your home and just being able to be with them instead of texting and emailing. And it's tough. I think cell phones are great, but I think they're also awful for us, right?
Sure, right. They're could be a great business tool. But the creators behind every app is trying to get your eyes on the screen
all
longer.
the time. Yep.
So if you don't set any healthy boundaries, it could just run you, right? Instead
So
of you
true.
running it. As far as working from home, it's really tough. I get to work from home sometimes in my full-time job, and I find that I work more hours at home, and I get more done, which is great, but then I don't take any breaks. Like, I tend to just work straight through versus if I drive into the office, work starts when I get there. When I leave the office, it kind of ends there. But when you're working from home, it's like you have to really focus on, all right, 7:30, I'm going to start. 5 p.m., I'm turning the laptop off, shutting the phone off. And it's tough because like you can say, oh, it's so cool, I get to work from home and be home with your kids. But at the same time, if you're at home working from home at 4 p.m. and your kids are there, you're really not doing either any justice, right?
I completely agree. Yeah, it's true. I have struggled with that at 100%. My mom came over yesterday and I went and picked my kids up, and then I was like, Mom, I'll be right back. Like, I just have 2 emails to answer. And she's like, holy smokes, like, do you do this every day? And I'm like, yeah, like, this is the drive in me. Like, it's just, and I give mad props to my parents because they are both go-getters, and all of my siblings are unbelievably go-getters, and, they're entrepreneurs and have a nurse practitioner in the family who does brain surgery. Like, we all have the drive from my parents, and I feel like some of the genetics is hard to escape from, right?
Sure. Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's tough too when social media will sell you that entrepreneurs are supposed to, hashtag the grind.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of hashtag the grind's a lie.
Yeah. I love it.
It's not about beating your head against the wall for, 12, 15, 16 hours a day. You might have those days as being an entrepreneur, but that's not what you should be striving for. You shouldn't be celebrating or saying, well, this is my life now. I'm just going to be a martyr and let this run me, because at the end of the day, if you're doing that, then where is your actual freedom of being an entrepreneur if you're tied to your jobs even more than like a normal 8 to 5 job?
Gosh, so true. So true. I think that's a hard thing to do. You want to run your business, you want to be successful, but it's hard to step away from it.
Sure, because you want to pour everything into
you
it,
have.
right? Yeah,
that's right.
And that's part of that drive, I'm sure, you got from your parents. Were there other traits or things that your parents kind of instilled into you that is making you successful today?
Oh my gosh. I don't know whose stubbornness I got, my mom or my dad's, but I think that's sometimes good in sales because I really have a hard time accepting the word no. That's not always great in a marriage either, right? So God bless my husband who puts up with me. But accepting the word no in sales, it's if someone tells me no, I'm like, okay, I'll be back for you in about 3 or 4 months. And sure. I don't, constantly beat a dead horse, or I just find another path like in their door. Mm-hmm. I definitely think that's a trait of my parents that I've taken. Like, don't accept no. Like, go for the dream, go for it, chase it. Like, you can do it. I grew up playing sports, and if I would have accepted the word no growing up playing sports, I probably, honestly, would not be in the schools that I'm able to get in today, like Lee Davis and Stonewall and Hanover, because that was a huge part of my life. And in 6th grade, I made a softball team. In 7th grade, I didn't, which is crazy. So I went back and I was like full speed ahead, and I made it 8th for a year. But if I would have accepted no, as I wasn't able to make that team, right? Like, that would have knocked me down for life in a lot of ways, you know? Like, so sports has played a huge part of that too. Like, get back up and go again.
Yeah, definitely.
If you fail, get back up, go again. I have failed a lot in the first 6 months here, a lot. And we pushed through. I remember there were days when I'd be like, Wes, oh my gosh, like, I don't think this is the right career choice. Mm-hmm. And we just had so many growing pains with me jumping on board, bringing in so much business, and we have grown through it, and we've been super successful for it. And I'm grateful for the failures and the no's.
Sure.
Right? That's how you grow and learn. Yeah,
you either win or learn, right?
Yeah.
You don't even necessarily fail as long as you're turning that into learning.
Right. Yeah. So I guess it's all full circle, right?
Yeah.
Kind of went off on a little tangent about sports, but
no, that's so true. Like, even in CrossFit, right? You might not have the pull up today.
Yeah.
But you keep trying, you keep doing all the work. Eventually you'll get it. It's not a matter of, when or if, it's a matter of when. It's just, you got to put in the time. It's very easy to say that's too hard and walk away. And sports, I think, is one aspect that teaches that, as well as parents and a good moral upbringing and all of those other things. But definitely, like, sports and CrossFit, I think, really teach you to be persistent and keep driving towards whatever that goal is you've set for yourself.
Oh, 100%. You're speaking my lingo. It's taken me a year to get one strict pull-up, Joe.
Hey.
I got it.
Yeah.
I wanted to, like, cry, run circles
That's
around
awesome.
CrossFit, but I got it.
That's good. You got it, exactly. I'm sure you could use that story to as a parallel to many other things, right? There was times in that pull-up, right, that you were just like, forget it. Like, it's not going to happen. My hands hurt, my shoulders hurt, and I haven't gotten anywhere.
Yeah. I feel like I would want to throw stuff. I'd go out and I'd be like, I can't get it. But then I'd see my neighbor, like, crushing, like, 5 and 6, strict pull-ups. And it's tough to not compare yourself to your peer in CrossFit. I mean, very similar to life. And,
Sure. Especially with social media.
Oh, yeah.
Only the positives are out there typically.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah, and I don't think it's wrong necessarily to compare yourself, as long as this is where I think where people get in trouble, is they compare themselves and then it's to their detriment, versus you compare yourself to aspiration.
Yeah.
So, like, your neighbor getting 5 pull-ups, maybe that actually pushed you to get your first one more so than it, discouraged you and told you to give up. It all depends on how you do the comparison. I think if it's healthy, then it's great. Like, social media is great at showing what people are capable of. Especially if you look at CrossFit social media, like, man, all these people are doing amazing things.
Gosh.
I didn't think that was possible. It's like, oh, it is possible. But then there's the other side of that where you look at that and say, oh, there's no way I could ever be like that. And that's where the constant comparing, I think, can cause issues.
Yeah, it's tough. You got to put in the work there, right?
Yeah, for sure. What was the day like when you got it? Like,
when I got my pull-up? I just had this weird feeling like it was going to happen. So actually, it's funny. We talk about social media and telling people. I had worked with Hallie, who is...
friend of the show.
Yeah. And she runs Duramata Therapy. And, she's like, I just wanted her to give me some tricks. So she's like, LaNette, you're not going to get it through a WOD. Like, you have to put in the time. So I literally probably put in the time doing negatives, and that's what she recommended.
Yeah, that's how I got my first one.
Yeah, that's what she said. She's like, that's how I got mine.
Yep.
And it's probably taken me 2 or 3 months to finally get it, but I recorded myself doing it. Now I have a little kick at the end to get so it's probably not 100% a strict pull-up, but in my mind, it is a pull-up.
Yeah, it is a pull-up.
Yeah. So I sent the video immediately to Hallie and was like, look what I did. I'm so excited. And I think I sent it to Marty, or was like, do you see what I just got? Because he would always see me so down on myself for silly things. But I think that's always an escape for me, too, getting in there and just escaping from life. And, life's hard.
Yeah.
It's an amazing life, but it is hard.
Sure.
And CrossFit has just provided me that outlet.
That's awesome. You just got to go in there, put the music on, and grind in there.
Escape.
And it's just, you feel good at the end of it.
So true.
Anything that was typically, I think even Greg Glassman, the founder of CrossFit, said this, that, like, if something's bothering you and then you go do a CrossFit workout, typically it's not bothering you nearly as much afterwards.
Wow.
Right?
It is the truth. It's so true.
It's like, oh, that's not that big of a deal, just because, and then you could say that for runners or anybody who does physical exercise.
Oh, yeah.
But the whole, like, endorphin high and everything afterwards, and the sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
Also the community aspect, doing things with people and just lifting you up, that's what the community is so good about doing.
So amazing. I have met so many great people in CrossFit that I would have never known. I mean, same for networking events that I've done. And you've been a part of it too. I have met 2 great people just from coming to one of your networking events. So what you're doing for us is huge in Richmond.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad you appreciate it.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So hopefully that equals more listeners and more followers. And
yes. Keep having them.
Yeah, get those numbers up. You mentioned getting into the schools for some of your accounts and things like that. Is that tough navigating local government?
As far as payments?
Just in general.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's so much red tape around, and I only know this from National Guard. So inside looking out, I can't imagine anyone approaching like a government entity and easily figuring out who can make decisions, how they
it's
need to be
tough.
made, and doing it in any kind of timely manner, just because it seems like it can be so difficult to kind of break down the first few barriers.
So
and I would
true.
only imagine that public school system's probably the same. They only have authorized people they can send payments to. They only have certain people they're allowed to kind of, it's all kind of dictated at some other level beyond the administrators usually.
You have nailed it.
Okay.
It is tough getting in schools. I think I have been super blessed to slide in the door with some of the people I've known from Lee Davis and Stonewall when I was there.
Just last year.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. I thought of that one. Yes, so I think it starts small, and I have seen it grow just by word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And I think mainly it's because we've been able to provide such a great turnaround time. Our turnaround time on apparel is 5 to 7 business days.
Yeah.
You cannot find that.
No.
And the beauty of me going into the schools is I'm now able to set up shops for them. It can be online ordering, or I'm able to provide them with a hard copy of what their apparel is going to look like, how much it costs. They give that back to the coaches. I go back, pick it up, put the order in all by myself. So not only is our turnaround time huge for schools, but just us being able to provide what they need and them not to have to do so much work. You know,
Right.
God bless these teachers and coaches. They already have so much on their plate.
Right.
You know, like if I can take one thing off their plate and help them.
Yeah,
It's
because they have to
huge.
go around and I imagine collect payments from. It's just like a gym trying to get
Yeah.
T-shirt orders, right? And if you can either set up a quick like pop-up website that they can just point people to, or
Yep.
some sort of quick and easy form, I imagine that makes it a lot easier for them to manage this whole thing. Because even for myself, designing a shirt, finding someone to print it, making sure it arrives, making sure the sizes and everything are all right, that takes a lot of time.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
You know, I think for middle school too, it's huge because their season's only 6 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So you've got your team, that's already week 5. You don't have a lot of turnaround time to do apparel.
Right.
So what I've been trying to do is get the coaches mock-ups so they know what it looks like 2 weeks prior to the team even starting.
Nice.
And so we're good to go. As soon as they have parent night, we're good to go on the orders. You just, here's the sheet, take it home. I need it back by Friday. We're rocking and rolling the following Monday with stuff.
It's good just getting ahead of it. And,
Trying to get ahead,
yeah.
right. I think it's huge.
Yeah.
Well, it's huge with anything in life,
Sure.
right? Trying to get ahead.
Usually.
But schools are tough.
Yeah.
It's all on who you know, too.
Yeah. Would you have any advice for someone maybe in the fitness space that wanted to maybe bring CrossFit into school? I've seen some schools do this,
Oh, wow.
not in Richmond, but
Yeah.
I've seen some schools, especially colleges, I think get a little bit easier, but CrossFit or CrossFit type programs, even some gym teachers that have become level 1 and want to start implementing it. Do you have any advice to how to navigate the red tape that is
Yeah, how to get in
government
that-
and try to get them to buy into like, hey, this isn't going to hurt the kids. This is actually better than what we're doing. And
I think CrossFit gets just such a bad rap. Like,
sure.
you're going to get injured, and why are you doing that?
Did you see that the NSCA is paying out $4 million for their false report about CrossFit injuries?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I
so
did not.
CrossFit won in a lawsuit. So $4 million just in fees, and that's not even, I don't think, damages yet. Because they had produced this big
Stinks.
study that said, it's a very effective program, but here's a high rate of injury. And it turns out that whole thing was falsified by the NSCA, which is supposed to be like a scientific journal for sports.
Right.
And exercise science.
Yeah.
And it's taken them down. So
Oh my
it's
gosh.
interesting that you say that, because I think between that and just everyone's perception, what they see on YouTube and
Totally.
the CrossFit Games, there is that like, high rate of injury. But back to what we're talking about, if you were to try to initially knock that stuff down, but like try to get into the schools, because I feel like the kids, especially now more than ever, unless they're in sports, they're probably not physically active. They're not eating well.
Right.
And you know as well as I do that trying to get that pull up or doing CrossFit, it tends to make you start thinking about how are you sleeping, how are you eating,
So true.
all the other things that really make a decent life, quality
Right.
of life, right?
So you've done sports all your life, right?
Nope.
You haven't. For some reason, I was thinking
know,
you were a
right?
sports guy.
I was an overweight kid who played video games.
Really?
Yeah, I did play basketball, but like I went to practice, played, and left. I wasn't, into it.
So you've
I did some.
changed.
Yeah, I did some dance as a kid, just because my
Okay.
sisters did. But I was always overweight. I was always just bare minimum type kid.
Okay.
And I was homeschooled too. On top of that. But I was really good at playing video games and doing computer stuff, and had no interest in, the jock boys
Yeah.
going out and playing
Okay.
sports kind of thing. So yeah, I've completely 180'd on
You
that.
have. Well, you look amazing.
Well, thank you.
So, back to the school thing, it's like they have open gyms, right? So that's a big deal for schools to have open gyms. Who's watching you during open gyms?
Nobody, right?
Yeah, no one. So how much more effective would it be to have a level 1 CrossFit or level 2 CrossFit coach in there teaching them the proper movements of building strength on a barbell or cardio for that matter? And when they come around to their season, they are 10 times stronger than they ever could have been.
Yep.
Right? Like, that's huge. Baseball, softball, that's what I grew up doing. I was a pitcher. But to think if I would have possibly had that behind me, how much more powerful I could have pitched. Like, how much faster could my
Right.
balls have been if I had some good guidance on weightlifting?
Sure. Or I know another thing especially for female like lacrosse teams, like injury rates, right?
Yes.
Are pretty high in
Yeah.
sports, which is funny because they always outweigh the CrossFit injury rates.
Right.
But strengthening those joints like ACLs and all those types of tears that can end careers for some people,
Yeah.
or end at least their high school sports season, is just from your navigating kind of what's going on. Is there like an approach you would recommend to start a conversation about that, whether it be an outsider or just someone who's trying to look out for kids? Who would they call?
Yeah.
And what would they pitch, I guess?
I would say the athletic directors would be the one that you would go to. And it's not only going to help them with sports, it's the confidence in schools.
Right. Yeah.
You see all this bullying and we're doing so much to prevent bullying, but what are we doing to help with confidence?
Yeah.
Not much.
Right.
Like, why aren't we promoting health and fitness, what we can control, right? In the school systems.
Sure.
I mean, I think it would be amazing. And, not only just athletes, but what if kids who didn't have that guidance would love to join that part of the program and be part of it? Like, that's huge for some kids, building confidence and,
Yeah. Especially for the kids that maybe don't identify with playing sports.
Yeah, it's exactly.
But it's something they can do that's active,
Yeah.
right? They can just be good at exercising,
and they're
right?
just too scared to take that plunge,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm scared. I was scared to walk into a CrossFit door,
Sure.
So it's very similar in life and with teenagers,
Yeah. Yeah, especially just walking into any gym when you're not
When you
gym
don't
goer.
know 'em.
And you're
Yeah.
not used to, especially a normal gym that doesn't have a coach or a class. Like,
Yeah.
you just, what do I do?
Yeah,
and you just kind of
exactly.
make your laps. You get on the Stairmaster, and then you walk out, and you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
all right, I worked out for an hour. I earned this pizza,
Yeah, exactly. No, you didn't.
Yeah, it's like you didn't do anything.
You got
yeah.
50 calories,
Right.
right?
Right. Yeah, that's true. All right, so athletic department, I guess, and just
That's what I
say,
would think.
maybe other organizations, like maybe PTAs or some way to
Yeah.
kind of influence up, right?
Yeah. I mean, even coaches' meetings, I think, would be huge, talking to specific coaches. I think the ADs have so much say, in what
Gotcha.
they do, from what I understand. I've kind of snuck in through the back door a little bit on the coaches' side because they know me.
Right.
But sometimes that's just what you have to do, slide in that back door to get that.
Networking, right?
Right? Exactly. But I think having some sort of CrossFit relationship with coaches would be amazing. Amazing.
Awesome. Yeah, there's gyms right now that are doing sports teams on
Yeah.
the side. Of course, the teams are coming to the gym. But you really need to get more of the gym inside of
Yes.
the schools while you
Yeah.
have them there, and just teaching them about the basics of nutrition.
Right.
Unfortunately, from what I understand, school lunches aren't a model, a nutritional lunch, and like there's so much beyond, right, that you know, we probably can't control easily,
Right.
but it'd be nice to start educating. Because just from my perspective, and I only went to public school for 2 years, but even from like my parents, like good nutrition wasn't around because the knowledge wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know, they were taught that fat was bad as far as fat grams. Mm-hmm. And so if it's low fat, it's okay. Sugar wasn't really a thought, other
Right.
than maybe it makes you, you know, misbehave, but never that you're going to get diabetes by
Right.
eating too much of this stuff.
Right.
And so educating children, I think it would be really cool to do. And so hopefully, you know, if someone's listening to this, they hear what you said, like just start reaching out to people and start
Yeah.
trying to get in the door, especially for those that are even more passionate about like teaching young children and
Exactly.
confidence and weight loss and everything, which go hand in
Or
hand.
come to
you
your
know.
networking event. Like that
Yeah,
would be
true.
a great way to
Yeah.
just like touch and get in touch with teachers and
Mm-hmm.
ADs. Like you just never know.
Yeah,
You never know.
that's true. What's next
What's
for
next?
you at K2?
Yeah, so I just had my end of the year review this week, and I was told I had a great year, but I needed to go get a big fish.
Oh,
So big fish for me is like sports backers, right?
yeah, I've tried really hard to talk to them.
It's
really tough because I was
right?
like, I would love to work with you guys
Yeah.
and help with your events.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that, you would be amazing.
I've been trying, and I've emailed every email I could find.
It's tough.
Yeah, I don't know who to talk to there.
So, I would love to really work on trying. I mean, we're local, you know, we have so much to bring to the table for
Yeah.
something local like that, you know, like it's a Monument Avenue, you know, race,
Sure.
right?
Or
So,
all their events, you know.
yeah. So we are so like, we love shop local, like let's make it happen, support local. So what's next is I would love to get a big fish this year. I am really working hard on that, and also just really trying to get into Capital One too.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to do some of their swag. Schools, of course, are amazing for me. I love kids, like being around them and being able to see what cute little gear I can put on them, and you know, so yeah. So I guess what's next is I really got to work hard this year.
All right, sports backers, if you're
Yeah.
listening,
Right?
or if you know anyone who knows anybody at sports backers,
Yes, Joe and I would love to meet
we would
with you
love
guys.
to talk to you about apparel and about helping you with CrossFitters getting involved in
Yeah.
what you do, because
Yeah.
we run those races. We're in it.
Exactly.
It's just
Yes,
I don't
everyone
think-
at K2
yeah,
runs it.
I don't think people realize it, and so
Yeah.
it'd be really cool to have like the affiliate collective working with sports backers to do some cool things.
Yeah, you bring a lot to the table.
I try. Usually just a lot of grief.
A lot of grief.
Yeah, there's this guy again talking about building a community.
No, you've done a great job, and many people have said that it is just awesome, the power of community that you're bringing together.
Sweet. Awesome. So big fish coming up.
Yep.
What else?
What else do we have?
2 pull-ups?
Maybe. I'm going to try
Yeah.
to get another one in there. After talking to Mandy this morning, she said I need to have 5 before I can get my kipping pull-ups.
That's a good start. Yeah.
I'm like, oh my stars, 5? That'll take me 5 years, Mandy.
No.
She's like, no, I'm sending you progressions over. You're going to get it.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, once you get 1, 2, and 3 is not much harder.
That's what she
It's always
says.
that initial one, you know.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. You're going to be good at it, I think.
Yeah. I hope so.
Yeah. Awesome. I guess one last question. You're a mother.
Yes.
I asked Mandy something very similar. We talked a little bit about like workloads and kind of juggling everything. As far as from that perspective specifically, what for women out there who want to pursue something new or,
Yeah.
or switch careers, kind of doing things like you're doing, just going out there and getting it, but also maintain a stable home, maintain a relationship with their children, their husband or
Yeah.
whoever, right? Any recommendations?
Yeah, I would say get out of your comfort zone. Don't be afraid to fail. It is not easy to get outside of your comfort zone. I get that. But the only way for us to learn is failure. And once you fail, it is the best lesson to pick it up and be successful. I think it's been empowering this year for me. It's been a great year for growth for me in the sense that I always probably second guess myself a lot in life, which we all have
Confidence,
a bad habit.
right?
Yes, we have a bad habit of doing that. And, you know, it's funny, I always text my sister being like, I'm so worried that my boys are going to see me working and I can't be present with them 24/7, or I can't go do lunch duty, which God bless you, PTA moms and moms that love to do that stuff. That is not my thing. But I always just feel sometimes less than when I can't do that for them 24/7 because I am working, right?
That's something my wife's mentioned. Like,
it's
she
hard.
wishes she could do stuff like that, but at the same time, I wonder if she would actually enjoy going to doing lunch duty, right?
That is not my thing. I'd rather bring home the bacon than do the lunch duty, right? And but I love kids.
Sure.
But I think this year has been a huge year for me to know it's okay. It's okay that your kids are seeing you work. Like, they are seeing a mom, pick up the pieces, and the house is not always 100% like they're used to. Mainly my husband's the OCD one, so he's had to get used to that.
Oh, really?
But, you know, for moms out there, I mean, go get it. Go. Like, what's stopping you?
Wow.
Chase it.
That's powerful. Anything else you want to add?
I think I'm good.
You good?
This has been amazing. Thanks so much, Joe.
Sure, anytime. Thanks for tuning in to the RVA Affiliate Collective podcast. This is Joe Ellis. Be sure to follow us on iTunes and give us a subscribe. Also check us out on YouTube under the same name, RVA Affiliate Collective. Thank you. Have a good one.